I'm Colin O'Keefe, and this is LXBN TV, continuing our series on what President Barack Obama's second term means for various areas of the law. I am speaking with Angelo Paparelli of Seyfarth Shaw and his blog, Nation of Immigrators. Angelo, first off, what do you expect to see in the area of immigration law during Obama's second term in office? Will we see some serious reform?
Well, Colin, what a difference an election makes, because we have seen virtually a sea change in attitudes across the spectrum from left to right on the possibility of immigration reform. There have been a diverse number of voices who have come to grips with the reality that the electorate, particularly the composition of the electorate, being highly focused toward not merely the Hispanic vote, but also Asian Americans and young people, and exit polls showing that 2/3 of Americans believe that this problem of immigration, our dysfunctional system, should be corrected, should be fixed. And not only have we heard from Speaker of the House Boehner and others on the Republican side, we've actually heard from a Fox News commentator, Sean Hannity, on his radio show, has indicated recently that his attitude toward illegal immigration has evolved, and that as long as we continue to make efforts to enforce the border security, that he believes there should be a path to citizenship for the undocumented in the country, a path to legalization at least. And that is quite heartening news, because he, along with many others on that network, have been staunch opponents of immigration. And so I have been participating in national teleconferences among insiders this week, post-election. The findings and the perceptions run the gamut, from those who believe that the wisest strategy is to adopt some form of piecemeal selection of low-hanging fruit, and others who want to go big. I personally believe that this is a very propitious moment for us to urge the president to go big. He has received a very strong mandate on the subject of immigration, because the stark contrast between his views, which would support comprehensive immigration reform, and those of the fallen candidate, GOP presidential candidate Romney, are so stark. Romney had urged self-deportation. He had suggested that he would veto the DREAM Act, which would have provided a pathway to legal status for those who were brought here innocently as children and who lived their lives as if they were Americans in every way except on paper. And so what would be the content of immigration reform? It appears that the non-controversial elements would probably be some form of solution to the DREAM Act population. The president had, by executive order, developed actually by departmental order from the Department of Homeland Security, had developed a program called DACA, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, which would have given work permits and a reprieve from deportation for a 2-year period. But that is likely now to blossom into some route to permanent residence. It may have some restrictions on it. It may be that the children will not be able to sponsor their parents, as is ordinarily the case, because of the parents' actions. The other very likely development will be some form of movement on the quotas for employment-based immigration. There has been a great unfairness in the per-country quotas, which have kept the highly talented people from India and China waiting decades for immigration benefits, which is an intolerable situation. So that might see some forward movement, as well as relief for what we call STEM graduates. Those are those who have graduated from a university in the United States with a science, technology, engineering, or math higher degree, who would be given a green card. One of the sticking points is, do we add additional immigrant visa quota numbers, or do we take them away from another group? And the last time this came up, which was not long before the election, it failed of a vote because of that issue. And Democrats don't want to take it away, but the Republicans felt that the so-called diversity lottery population, which is 55,000 visas a year, was a ripe target for subtraction of their quota numbers for the sake of the STEM workers. So the long and short of it is those are the low-hanging fruit. But to go big would suggest a comprehensive deal that would heighten border security, although border security has been very successful in reducing the number of entrants and those who are apprehended, perhaps helped by the poor economy. Second, a comprehensive solution that would allow for a path to legal status for the mass of people here, estimated to be 11 million people. The DREAM Act population is probably only 1 million or so. So 10 million more people who would be given a legal status. They would probably have to pay fines of a substantial amount and any back taxes that might be owed, which would make the program not only self-sustaining but also perhaps contribute to the deficit reduction. They would be given presumably a path to citizenship, not just a path to a green card and legal status. The other would be future flows. What are our future needs to support our country's economy and promote prosperity? That's and is yet to be developed discussion, which includes not merely the very high-skilled innovators and scientists and mathematicians, but also regular professional workers, skilled workers, and even unskilled workers, farm workers, where our fruits and vegetables have been rotting on the field or in the trees because of the inability to gain the right workers as needed by the agricultural community. And so those items would be added with a continuing focus on employer enforcement at the work site. Whether there should be a national mandated EVerify electronic verification system or not is a big debate. Those who are concerned with privacy and the fear of Big Brother may be opposed to that. There's also the problem that the flaw in EVerify is that it doesn't protect against imposters, in the sense that if you have a very good fraudulent document that ties back to a legitimate number, you may be approved for EVerify but be unauthorized nevertheless. And that would require some form of biometric identifier, whether it's a fingerprint, an eye scan, a facial recognition scan. That's the kind of thing that yet is needed to be decided. But employers would be well advised to recognize that the recent effort that we have seen, the so-called silent raids on the workforce, where it is not a target of the undocumented population, but rather a target of employers who may have not been sufficiently alert when screening new hires for their eligibility to be employed under the immigration laws. Those employers are still likely to be focused of government investigation, and penalties are likely to be increased. So in short, those are the big issues, and I think the time is right, and I think it would be a mistake to try to go with small victories in a piecemeal fashion, because we don't know how other issues, such as the fiscal cliff and the deficit and all the other issues that we face, how those might impact the negotiation at a later point. One of the nice things is that the president has shown that he has executive authority to fix the immigration problems that we have. And so he could use that as a threat to encourage action now to forestall the president from exercising that power. He found that not only was there no political cost to using his executive authority, but many believe, as I do, that the exercise of that authority demonstrated to the undocumented population, and more importantly to the Hispanic and Asian American population, that he is serious about immigration reform. And so he not only paid no cost, it probably contributed to his election victory.
Definitely. And second, many have said, after this election that the GOP faces some serious soul searching, is what, a lot of people have said. Do you think they'll do more to appeal to this growing constituency, particularly Hispanics and Asian Americans, as you mentioned, or do you think they'll continue their policies, what we've previously seen employed from them?
Well, I think what's been shown in the recent election has been that it is not merely to recruit candidates who have the heritage of the Hispanic community or the Asian Pacific community. That's not going to be enough, because if they espouse extreme positions, Tea Party type positions that have been espoused by many in the right wing of the GOP, that's not going to be persuasive. What has to happen is that there have to be policies embraced that are different than have been embraced up until now. Mia Love out of Utah, Alan West out of, I believe, Florida, have not succeeded, even though they would have been perceived as a new era of minority candidates for the GOP. So it's got to be backed up by real change in policy that is receptive and reflective of the real interests as this new voting electorate bloc has expressed. And it's a demographic fact that America is, some people say it's the browning of America. I like to think of it as the caramelizing of America, because caramelizing has a flavor to it that adds to our palate rather than subtracts.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I think, as you mentioned, the time is ripe for something like this, and it'll be very interesting to see if this is, as many suspect, a major issue that Obama will take up during his second term in office.
Well, let's stay tuned, and maybe we'll follow up with a recap.
Yep, absolutely. Again, that was Angelo Paparelli of Nation of Immigrators. For more of his insight, be sure to visit nationofimmigrators.com. And for more curated election 2012 commentary from the Lex Blog Network's thousands of authors, search election 2012 at lxbn.com and then click on that tag for our dedicated section. Thank you, Angelo.
Thank you, Colin.